A very important thing for me in the agency is to bring everybody to these trips so that they can see what it is like. Bringing them here and asking them to get involved with all of the people that are making it. It's a very important thing. It makes the whole storytelling a lot stronger. It makes it more real, more connected to what it actually means, and it's inspiring, to be perfectly honest. All of the producers that are working with us are they all have very powerful stories, and they have a very strong purpose that really is very inspiring to us. And to be able to share it together and to talk to each other about it is just really wonderful. About a year ago, I began to take a course that had the purpose of turning filmmakers into profitable businesses. So first thing I learned there was that I needed to find a niche in which I could apply my skills. The first job that I was asked to do in this course was to go and do some research about the niche that I was interested in. First I picked tequila because, I figured that a lot of American companies are making tequila, and it seemed to me like I could add some value by being so close to it and having also a very big interest in the subject. The first job I ever did with tequila was working for El Ateo, which they turned out to become one of Package's brands while I was also beginning to work with Sean. The reason I came in contact with him is because this assignment that I had on the course was that I should do some research and find out what were the needs from some of the brands that I scouted and was interested in. And the first brand that I looked into was actually G4, because this additive-free movement was just beginning to expand and people were taking notice of these smaller brands that are making quality tequila. I was interested in working for those brands and not like big corporations. So I searched for G4 and I wrote to their Instagram account, and Sean got back to me by agreeing to answer some of my questions. He was the only guy who was interested in answering, because most of the brands were not really even interested in talking. So I began to speak to Sean, and he was interested in getting to know me, which was really cool to find out. He did say that he didn't see where he could apply my skills at that time. So then we ended up finishing the conversation. It was all good. I was happy with what he shared with me, but it didn't seem like that we were going to work anytime soon. One day I just, out of nowhere, Sean wrote to me and said if I could maybe make a video for this other brand that he was working with. I said yes. So we ended up going to Totonilco to shoot a video for them. And Sean really liked what he saw. So we got to speak in person there, and he said, well, why don't we do something for G4? I decided that I wanted to do a documentary about Felipe and the way he makes tequila and his philosophy and approach to the craft. It ended up being a really, really good video. He was surprised because not many people can talk to Felipe the way I did, because he was very friendly and open, and he was more than happy to answer everything that I asked him. And the interview came out really nicely, and also all of the shooting that we did there and at El Pandillo. Things began to grow, and people really dig the kind of work that we were putting out with pictures and videos and storytelling. So we did the G4 campaign for the Dia de Muertos, which was quite successful in the messaging and how people understood the message behind the product in the US. I guess the fact that I'm from Mexico and I know the culture very well, of course. That's actually what G4 is all about, and not only G4 but packaged. So as things were working out on that area, Sean began to introduce me to his other brands. We started doing photo shoots and product pictures and videos for the other brands, and that's how it all started. One of the things that struck me the most about dealing with him from the very start was how clear and honest he was about everything. And it seemed to me that Sean wasn't a guy who would say something that he would not back up with actions. He took his time to make decisions. Like every time I proposed something or I told him something, he said he would think about it, and he actually did think about it and then come back to me with an answer, so it's been like that all along the way. He's very transparent in that way, and very ethical as well. Those are pretty much the values that characterize Packaged in all of their deals. And after I've talked to most of the producers and we've shared our experience working with Sean, we all agree with this. And also, well, his appreciation for quality, that extra mile that I always try to put into every project. Sean values that, and he's not cheap about it, and he understands that great product takes a lot of effort and a lot of passion to make it happen. So that's one of the things that also got me very happy about working with him, the fact that I have a lot of autonomy in terms of coming up with ideas and stories, and I believe that's the way he handles the brands as well and the product. He lets the producers do what they do best, which is their tequila, their raicilla, the mezcal. He trusts the makers to do their work, and then he does what he does, which is to sell it, to find people that are interested in valuing the product as it should be. Package has 3 core values that he's very proud of and are almost like conditions to work with them, which is, first of all, transparency, which we've talked about. And this has to do with a lot of things, like the product being what the product should be. It's about the fact that all of the products that Package represents have only what there is supposed to be in them. There is no added things, there is no avocantes, coloring, flavoring, or anything like that. That goes for the product, but the transparency value translates to everything that we do. And we tried our best to make things authentic and as close to more artisanal and purest form of whatever it is that we do. We have nothing to hide at all because we're proud of the way we do things. So transparency is one of the big ones. Also, producer owned. The producers who are making the tequilas or whatever they're making, the mezcal, the raicilla, are the ones that should be in control of the product. They should have a final say on what it tastes like and all the procedure that it takes to bring it to life. So Package respects that very much. Package doesn't work with brands that are not producers. We want the producers to have absolute control because we are representing the producers. This is a very unique thing. The third value, and this is also like really, really important, is the world-class value. World-class means that everything we do at Package has a certain quality standard. It cannot be below the best, which means that the product is done the right way. There is no other way. In that area, there's a lot of playing that can be done and experimenting, and that's completely up to the producers. The whole philosophy of the producers that want to make an authentic product like it has been done for decades or centuries even. And that also goes to what we are doing at the agency. We're trying to make our storytelling and the pictures and everything that we put out there as content as good as it should be. We're looking for messaging and for truth in everything that we're putting out there, to teach people about how the processes are made, what the stories of the producers are. In the end, we're looking to make a big community, bring people together through these ideas and messages that represent the agave lifestyle. the moment we are 5. I'm the director of the agency, and I'm also in charge of, I'm head of production, which means I organize and produce most of the work that is needed for the shootings. I'm also organizing the agency so that it can work fluently and be able to answer to all of the needs that are coming in. In that regard, we have Monica as well. Monica is head of operations. She oversees all of operations and keeps everything working smoothly. She is like the adult in the room, as Sean calls her, bringing everybody down to earth. Since it's a very creative environment, we tend to get lost in the ideas. So she's the one who is making everybody accountable for the work and what we're supposed to be doing. Javier is a very creative mind. He likes playing with ideas and making ideas into concepts. He's head of marketing and branding. He's like the art director in so many ways. He and I like working together very much. I work with concepts and with language, and Javier works with the visual part of it. Lore is more of a graphic designer, illustrator. She's also doing work with photography, while Ali is more like the editor and the filmmaker. So she's doing reels and she's doing editing and she's working with animations as well. For example, in this trip to Palomo, we decided to break the team into 2 units. The first unit is me with Lore. Lore is working with me as a camera assistant and producer assistant. She's with me changing lenses, helping me get my shots, moving lights and backing up the memory cards. She's charging batteries. While on the other hand, there's Javier and Ale working as a unit. They're going around Matatlan looking for stories. So they're going around asking people stuff and doing interviews on the streets and going into museums and finding out the story behind Mezcal and what's going on in this town. And in the middle of both units is Monica, who is doing assistant director to both units. So she's the one who knows all the shots and the work plan, keeping track of what we're doing. We have a very easygoing, professional atmosphere of work. We like it that way. We enjoy having a good time with the producers. We have a good time with each other. We drink, we have fun, we laugh, but we're very professional. It's a lot of fun. We all wear a lot of hats. Well, for us, package is aiming a very important thing. Sean has found out, he has seen through his experience working with the producers, and this wasn't something he was looking for, but it's something that he found him. But he realizes what a very important impact his work is having on the families and the people who are making these products. Mezcal and raicilla and all of these things are a very traditional thing that is being done in rural Mexico since centuries. Rural Mexico is very often portrayed as a very poor communities, and there's obviously a real thing about this. Well, they might have a lot of things to offer, like artisanal products, like honey, like interesting cultural crafts and this kind of thing. It's very hard for them to find a channel in which to be able to sell their products in a value that actually represents the amounts of work that go into it. But packaged is kind of finding out that it doesn't have to be that way. It's still a very new thing, but the fact that package can be that link between a very fantastic artisanal product and a market that is hungry for that kind of product and is willing to pay a fair amount for it. The more we are getting into this, the more we're finding out how this is true. And this is a very big mission, a very big purpose that the team from Package Mexico is very proud of and very committed to. We really want this to work out for the families from rural Mexico, as much as Sean does as well, as much as the producers from those areas are also looking forward for this. There's a lot of prove that this can happen, and we've already been seeing it with some of the communities that work around the brands that we represent, and we want this to grow and become an actual change for a lot of the families that are involved in these processes.